Welcome to Radio Fridays here at MHNews. I'm your host, Matt Haslam. This is the podcast episode, so you can listen to this on your way home from work. You can listen to this on vacation over the weekend. Wherever you end up going, you can listen to this in the car, on your iPod, on your daily walk, or whatever you do. Whatever you do in your life, you can listen to this on the go, which is kind of cool. So you don't actually have a visual aspect to this show, which I think is neat because we get to really dive into some of the news. We get to really dive into some of the more cooler things and not so much worrying about the edit time and stuff like that. So thanks for joining us again here. But last week we were talking about Pandora, and we were talking about McDonald's and stuff like that. This week's episode has a lot more to do with the filmmaking side for the most part, besides a little bit of an update here on last week's episode. That's kind of like the greatest part about a new show on Fridays, because we can, go back and update things if things suddenly change, so that's kind of cool for us. But CDBaby just came out with this today, and today meaning Thursday, the 19th of March here, 2015. Obviously. So basically they came out with this report. What was it? 3 lessons you should not learn from Taylor Swift. What the heck? Okay, so basically, what? She's not successful enough for you? What? Okay, so her tens and hundreds of millions of dollars of sales. Nope, we're not going to follow that. That's not an example to follow off of. She wouldn't be a role model. No, heck no. That's not good, But they came out with this report, and there's 3 things you shouldn't learn from her because nothing she does is good enough for them. But yeah, number 1 and 2, we're just gonna skip past for right now. But the third thing is the third thing you shouldn't do, apparently, according to CDBaby, is Taylor Swift took her music off of Spotify because, just like Pandora, they weren't paying the same rates. They weren't paying a certain percentage to the artist. And they said, well, basically, Taylor Swift was saying everybody else is regulated. They have to pay us this certain percentage of whatever the gross they get in off of my album sales. They had to pay me a certain percentage. Spotify and Pandora aren't regulated by that. So she took her music off of there, and then, CDBaby saying that basically it was just for her album launch. It was all publicity. That's stupid because, yeah, sure, it was around the same time, but it didn't do anything for her album sales. And then it's saying, quote here, where's the quote? Okay, so quote here, unlike Taylor Swift and Thom Yorke, though, there's billions of people out there who haven't heard of you or your music yet, and millions of them are Spotify users. Say what you will about the streaming model or Spotify's per stream payouts. If you're serious about finding new listeners for your music, getting them interested, and turning them into fans, you need to have a few songs on Spotify at the very least. Spotify is one of the most important tools in the present music discovery kit. Thom and Taylor don't need to worry about their discoverability. You do. End quote. That's all from CDBaby. What the heck? If they're not paying the right percentage, then why should we support them? Nevertheless, yeah, sure, you're going to get your music out there a little bit more, but you're not going to get paid to have your music out there. So what good is it? It's basically like doing a show for lesser money, You wouldn't walk into a venue and go, well, just because you can't pay enough. It's the same exact thing we always hear. Same bullcrap in music we always hear. I can't pay, but I can give you discoverability. How much is that worth, But that's our music news for the day. That's our music update on the Spotify and Pandora thing. So hope you enjoyed that. But mostly today, our episode is about filmmaking and what I'm super, super excited about. I really, today is one episode where I really wish we were doing the visual aspect, because you guys would see just how happy I am and how happy Matt Haslam Productions and everybody is just so thrilled to have on board this new technology. We made this major step that was a long time coming for us. And we're going to tell you guys about it in just a second here. But this is really one episode where I wish we had the visual, because right now I'm in the honeymoon phase. I'm in what I call the honeymoon phase. I'm really, really happy, and I'm so excited about it, and I can't wait to start working with it. But don't know if you guys been following us on Facebook, but yesterday we posted a thing on Wednesday. I should say we posted, because we're going to be publishing this on Friday, so technically Wednesday we published this, and we said on one of our Facebook groups about filmmaking, and you guys can join our group by just going to facebook.com/MHNews1, because somebody took MH News already. Like, how rude, really. Somebody has MH News, and I'm so mad. But, so you can go to MH News 1 on Facebook, or you can just go to mhnews.info and then jump over to our Facebook from that. But we posted this to the Frugal Filmmaker Facebook page, and it's sort of like our page on Facebook. It's just a page for filmmakers to help other filmmakers out and stuff like that. Our page is for musicians and stuff like that to help each other out as well. But basically said on there, right now we're working with Magix Video Pro X4, which, by the way, most people have never heard of that brand. There's plenty of times where I've needed help from Magix. I needed to see how to do something, and I went on to Magix, and apparently this is messed up, right? So I went onto their website and basically wanted to ask them a couple questions on their customer service, and they require you to pay $10 or something like that per phone call to them. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'll just find it online someplace for free, So I went online and I found it elsewhere, but it would have been a whole lot easier just to call them. So I don't know, but I just wasn't happy with Magix. I mean, to a certain extent, it's an easier program to use. It's basically Magix Video Pro X4 is a type of video editor software that you can put on to a Windows computer. It's not for Mac, I don't think, but it did serve its purpose, and it does still serve its purpose. I'm still going to end up using it because it's still a cool program for a bulk of what we do. I mean, it's not like we're going to completely replace it with the new stuff, but, and even people on Facebook were, say it in their 25 plus comments in the first 20 hours here. I think that was the most comments we've had on a Facebook post on this Frugal Filmmaker page from a post of ours. So I'm really happy about that, but people really like to help other people out, and I love seeing that. But I used to have Magix Video Pro. I still have it, but I've been wanting to move up for a very long time, and I wanted to move up to Final Cut Pro. And if you guys don't know this, Final Cut Pro is like the industry standard out there, or at least I thought it was. I mean, from what I've heard, it's the industry standard, and then they use it for major films. They use it for a lot of things. And it's a really cool program. I checked it out, and Final Cut Pro X, which is Final Cut Pro 10, it's an Apple-based product. So it's a product by Apple. I don't know if it was originally by Apple. I don't know if they started it, but at least it's now an Apple company, and it's an Apple-based product, which means you can't use Final Cut without a Mac computer, which is bullcrap that they would design a program just for Mac. I think that's bullcrap. But, and nevertheless, they did. And I thought, hey, this program's probably like $600 a year, which other programs out there are. Like Adobe Premiere is $600 a year. So, yeah. A little expensive of a program there, but it's a subscription-based program. But then I went on to Final Cut Pro 10, and apparently it's $300. One time only. And I was like, oh, man, that's actually in my price range. That's actually, for once, I thought, I was like, oh, this is way too expensive for me. I'm just researching it for the heck of it, and whatever. I probably won't ever get it. And then it's like, oh wow, yeah, it's actually in my price range. But then I found out it's just for Mac, and I'm like, oh, I don't have a Mac computer. So I went to Facebook like most people do when they're depressed. So I went to Facebook and asked the Frugal Filmmaker people out there, like I want Final Cut Pro. Is there a version for Windows? Is Adobe Premiere just as good? Like I don't know. I don't know either of these programs. I never worked with them before. All I worked with in my life was Magix. And before that, Windows Media, which was like, oh my God, primitive. So Magix was a very big step up for me. And I went to Magix Video Pro 2, and now I'm up to 4. So, and well, now they have like Magix Video Pro 6, something like that. But it's really expensive, so I'm like, I'm going to keep with 4. But that's the good part about having a one-time only product where you can just buy it and you can have it forever without having to upgrade. But I went to Facebook and I asked them, hey, what's best for me? Here's what I normally do. What do you guys think? And 25 people commented within the first 20 hours. And I basically, I want to appreciate everybody who commented on that. Everybody's so nice on this forum. By the way, if you ever get the chance to go there, it's The Frugal Filmmaker on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/The Frugal Filmmaker. And that's the whole webpage. Like, just go there and check it out. It's really awesome. It's an invite-only group, but go there and check it out. It's cool. But basically, this is a thing where I wanted to step up, and then I found out, hey, Adobe Premiere is $20 a month for as many months as you want to do it. And then After Effects is $20 a month. Which is a really, really freaking cool program. I love After Effects. Like, now that I'm starting to work with it, I'm just like, oh my God, where was this all of my life that I've been trying to do graphics? This is, I love it so much. This is going to end up being, my life for the next week now that I have it. I have Adobe Premiere and I have Adobe, I have Adobe products. So with After Effects, there's the name for it. I already forgot about it. But these programs are so much more advanced than Magix ever was. Magix was limited. I mean, it did video editing. I have to say, like, it does good video editing, and it does fast edit times on that. So if you're just doing like multicam productions, definitely, hey, Magix all the way. But if you want graphics, you better go with Adobe Premiere, buddy, and After Effects. Because, I try to do different graphics and, like, different moving titles and all that kind of stuff and audio effects, and I just couldn't do it in Magix. Magix was a very primitive program, I gotta say, and it's not the best out there. But, like, if I'm doing documentaries with that, which I'm going to be doing here, 2 or 3 of them, but, if I'm doing something big, I'm probably going to end up doing, a bulk of the editing on Magix and then taking it to Adobe. So, but then I was like, well, $20 a month isn't bad, but it's not necessarily good. That's still $40 for if you're doing, Premiere and After Effects. That's $40 a month all year, which is like, that's like $240 each a year. That's a lot of money. So I didn't want to do that. I don't have that kind of money. Like many people, we're all on a budget, so I don't have that kind of thing. Or I don't want to pay for that kind of thing. It's more like it. But, really, if you don't have the money, I did go and research this a little bit. I don't know why, but B&H sells Adobe Premiere for like $62 for Windows. It's a one-time flat rate. And I'm like, well, if they're selling the latest version, why do you need to do $20 a month? Apparently it's just for the upgrades. Apparently whenever they come out with an upgraded version, they send it to you right away. And I'm like, well, if I'm happy with Premiere and I don't want the additional stuff that you guys update with, then why would I need the updates? So I'm like, all right, I'll do that. So I'm going to try it out here for the 30-day trial period, and then I'm going to go with the $62 from B&H for Premiere. And apparently one of my Facebook peoples that I love so much now commented, like, if you go with like the last version of After Effects, then you can get it for a one-time fee as well on other sites such as B&H or Amazon. You can find it out there definitely. So I'm gonna do that because I'm not paying no $20 a month for After Effects alone. Even though I love After Effects, I have to say, like, it's totally worth the money if you have the money. And if you're making a lot of money on it, then sure, whatever, I'll pay that. Whatever, I'll pay $20 a month. If I'm gonna get like $40 a month, I'll pay $20 a month every month. That's no. If I'm gonna double my money, sure. But if you're just doing it for like personal use, or you're just starting out, well, then it's not really worth it. I would much rather do a one-time fee thing, and I like those programs where it's a one-time fee. If I want to upgrade, I'll pay for the upgrade at that point, but I don't want to, just pay for upgrades. Hopefully that you'll do an upgrade for me, So, basically, to summarize here, now we have Adobe Premiere with After Effects, and it's really cool. I love them. I have to say, I've worked with them for about 24 hours now. I know that's like, again, I say I'm in the honeymoon phase, and I'm not going to sit here and say I've worked with them for months and I love them. I'm going to say I love them because I've worked with them for 24 hours, and it's so much of an improvement. I mean, I've already edited a couple episodes of MHNews now on Premiere, and the audio effects alone, oh my god, it's so much more advanced. The After Effects, oh, I love me some After Effects. I know you have to export from After Effects every title. I get that. Like, it's a little more complex to do it, but for what you're getting, I mean, you're getting motion graphics, you're able to do all sorts of VFX. Oh my god. Like, if you check out YouTube, go on YouTube, and then, like, where you're at right now to watch this, go on YouTube and then just search After Effects, effects by After Effects. Oh man, I'm looking forward to this so much. I really am. Like, this is a big step forward for us. I mean, like, I wanted to move up to Final Cut Pro for a very, very long time, and now hearing from my friends that Adobe Premiere is on the same level, if not above Final Cut Pro. And one of them actually enlightened me to this, and I did some research, and they're actually right on it. I was like, wow, Adobe Premiere came first. Final Cut was a knockoff version. And I'm like, what? How did Final Cut become the industry standard? And then somebody said, well, it was the industry standard until Final Cut Pro 10. Somehow they went backwards. I don't know. But I guess Adobe bet them out on this 10 version, but man. So Adobe was the first, and I gotta say, like, I never worked with Final Cut Pro yet. Never. I want to, just to compare the two. But a lot of people on here were actually saying, I have a Mac, and I chose Premiere anyway, which Premiere has Windows and Mac versions. Final Cut Pro only has the Mac versions, and so I was surprised that people that have Macs chose the Adobe Premiere version, because they have the capability to do Final Cut Pro, and yet they're choosing Adobe. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? And they're like, well, here's why. And I'm like, wow. So people are doing that, and then people that had Final Cut Pro chose to come back to Adobe Premiere because they liked it so much. And that, to me, was the most shocking thing. And then one guy was saying, you can have Adobe Premiere without After Effects, and then have Magix as like your main video editor, and that's what I'm going to do. But no, because I think I haven't really quite figured out everything on it yet, and I don't think you can in 24 hours. But the timeline to me just doesn't look right. I mean, the timeline on Premiere, it's just a little bit harder to understand than Magix was, And maybe because like when I first edited with Magix, it was a little hard to understand at first too. So I'm kind of hoping I get used to it. But the effects on this thing are like so much more advanced, and I'm just like, where were you all my life? I could have done so much. Like color correction on this thing is just breathtaking. Keying out colors never's been easier. Like I can do green screen so much easier. Like Magix, we can do video, we can do green screen with. It was okay, but if you didn't do the green screen right, it made your life hell in editing. There was no masking tools in Video Pro, Magix Video Pro. There's no masking tools in Magix, and I'm like, okay, how do you have a video editor program without masking tools? And then, like, I don't know about you guys, but I watch Film Riot and Frugal Filmmaker and all these shows. And so I'm like, and that's where we get some of our content from, because, basically our show is for musicians, filmmakers, audio and lighting engineers, everybody in the entertainment industry. So it's like, we get some of our content from there, and I'm a filmmaker, so it's like I watch those shows to learn myself, because I think you always need to remain teachable. I think you always need to learn from. I've been there so many times when it's like, people that you think, oh hey, I have more experience than him. No, you can learn a lot from people like that, like people that are like half my age, and I'm 22 now, so that's 11 years old. I'm learning from people that young in filmmaking, which is like, you would normally go like, why? What? How are you learning from them? And I'm like, hey, there's always one or two things you can learn from somebody. So I'm open-minded about that. But, these people that are younger than me, I'm learning from, and I'm like, how don't you have this stuff on your Magic stuff? So now I'm learning from those people, and I'm learning how to mask and stuff like that, and that's all fun. And how to key out green, much simpler now. And apparently if you have like spill, which if you're not familiar with this, spill is when you have green screening and stuff like that, and your actor is too close to the green screen, you're going to notice there's green on, in post you're going to notice this especially. There's actually, if you light it correctly and your actor is too close to your green screen, typically your actor should be about 6 feet away. And I know in a recent music video that we were working on last year, the actor was like more like 6 inches away. And we went into post and keyed out the green, and then like half of her face was gone. Half the piano was gone. And I'm just like, okay, where do we go from here? Because I don't have masking tools. And then now with the After Effects, I'm just like, man, that took like all of 3 seconds, to fix. So I'm just like, I love them so much. I mean, it's a big step up forwards, but like I feel like we want to pass along the fact that you can get these programs for a whole lot more cheaper than what they're advertising. Of course, they want you to give them $600 a year. Like their main thing is you can pay $50 a month for all of their programs, which they have like 250 plus programs. And I'm like, all I want is After Effects and all I want is Premiere. 2 programs. I don't want 250. All I want is 2. Why would I be paying $50 a month? And that's $600 a year for those of you who can do math really quickly in your heads. But so I'm like, I'm not going to pay $600 a year for a program. I'm just not. So I feel like passing along the fact that you can get these cheaper out there on B&H and Amazon. As long as you're okay with like the last 0.1 version. It's now, I think, After Effects something 0.2. If you're okay with After Effects something 0.1 version, not 0.2, then sacrifice the little tiny things that they changed and just go with After Effects, one time only fee. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot cheaper, but I feel like passing that along, because a lot of people look at those prices and go, wow, that's a lot to pay for it. And they don't do it. That's what I did years ago when I originally got Magix. I was a student in college, and I was like, what program should I get? Here's Final Cut, which back then was $600 a year as well, and After Effects was just as expensive. And I'm like, I'm not paying those prices. Magix was $50 for a student price. I think it was like originally $75, and then with a student discount, educational discount, I got it down to like $50. So I'm just like, all right, that's a lot better video. It's a lot less advanced of a program, but I found out why it was only $50. But I mean, like, that's the thing. I'll still end up using it, so it's really good buy still. What's that going on? Like 3-4 years we've had that now. Final Cut Pro X4. So it's all three. I think are a really good interface system. You can take After Effects to Premiere, export them, then bring them to Magix. It's a lot more work, but once you get used to it, it's apparently a lot less time. There's a lot of keyboard shortcuts that I'm learning now that are so fun. Magix Video Pro didn't have any keyboard shortcuts. I was surprised by that. And then Premiere has like all of them, and it's like every key means something, and I'm just like, oh, cool. I can edit a lot faster once I learn them all. So that's exciting. But in other news today, besides us having Premiere, what's really cool is we're coming up on our 50th episode ever. I know this season we're only at what, like 20 something? What is it like? Let me check the schedules. No, today is our 27th episode ever. That's kind of cool. But if you look at overall episodes, we're actually coming up, if you include season 1, then we're coming up on our 50th episode pretty soon here. Actually, it's going to be airing April 1st, which is coincidentally April Fool's Day. Just saying. It's kind of cool for it to be a holiday and for it to be 50th episode. And what's even cooler from that is if you look completely ahead, we're also coming up on 100 episodes, like down the road, 50 episodes from now, So we're coming up on our 50th episode too. And 50th episode is going to be airing April 1st. And we got some exciting news on that. We're going to be traveling a little bit, and that's kind of all I want to say at this point about that. But we're going to be traveling to do the episode live somewhere. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say on that. So it's kind of cool to be coming up on that. And then our 100th episode, if you look ahead, is going to be airing coincident. I seriously had no idea about this. And then I did some math the other day, and I looked at a calendar, like you do. And then I was like, okay, when is our 100th episode going to be? Because that's a big day for us here at MHNews. We're definitely scheduled to do a 100th episode. We have enough ideas, definitely, to do it. And we have an amazing audience behind us. You guys are amazing, sending us questions and being interactive, watching the show. I love you guys, more than you guys will ever know. I love you guys watching. But when is our 100th episode going to be? And I found out it's going to be airing July 3rd. And I'm like, you're kidding me. It's going to be airing on my birthday. Like, I had not planned that, I promise. I did not plan that at all. Once we went to 5 episodes a week, I was just like, okay, originally when we did 4 episodes a week, my 100th episode was going to be sometime, in August, I think it was. And I'm like, okay, when is this going to air? And I'm like, oh, wow, July 3rd, my birthday. So our 50th episode airs April 1st, and then on a holiday around United States at least. And then our 100th episode is going to be on July 3rd, which should be that should be an international holiday. I'm just saying, because it's a birthday, that I'm just saying it should be a holiday, That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for, Mr. Obama, just make it a national holiday. That's all I want. All I ever wanted in life was my birthday to be a holiday. Like, it's always overshadowed by the next day. It's July 4th, it's like Independence Day in America. It's always overshadowed. Y'all have your fireworks for July 4th, but what about July 3rd? What about me? I'm just kidding. But it's kind of cool to air our 50th episode. I'm so excited about it. I don't want to give too much away, because if we give too much away at this point, everybody's going to be like, oh, well, what's left for the episode and why they're going to watch. So we're going to tease you with, hey, check out our 50th episode on April 1st. So that's all I'm saying at this point. But we have a lot planned, and we're traveling for it, and we're doing our episode live. That's all I'm gonna say. But it was really cool this week. It's lot's been happening out there in the entertainment industry, and I heard, now this is kind of cool, that Pharrell Williams had somebody else had a copyright infringement this week, and we're gonna be talking about that on Tuesday's episode. So that's coming up here. But we're also going to be talking about next, just looking forward to next week, because that's kind of what we're going to be doing at the end of these episodes on Fridays, is just looking ahead to next week's. Monday, of course, is our Q&A episode, so you guys send your questions in for that at questions@mhnews.info, and you guys have sent plenty of great questions in so far, and if you haven't sent your questions in, send them in, because we still haven't recorded that episode. Believe it or not, it's still not recorded. Usually we try to record things a little bit in advance, but Mondays we typically record on Sundays, so send that in. Tuesday's gonna be about Pharrell Williams' copyright infringement for his song, and then Wednesday's gonna be a review of the Mackie Onks 24.4 mixing console. That's an audio console for live events, and it's one of the best in the industry. We're gonna be doing our review on it. And that's our first review of a product outside of the filmmaking world. So we're kind of hoping you guys enjoy it. And it's really our first review in that branch. So a lot of people have been responding well to the filmmaker stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. On Thursday, we're going to be doing our episode on still photography tips. We went around a local town here where I come from. Is a town nearby this town I'm going to mention here, but we went around Pottsville, Pennsylvania, which is very widely known as the home of Yingling beer. And we went around there, took a bunch of still photos and stuff like that. And while we were there, we took a bunch of video as well of like how to, which is kind of cool. I love doing some how to's on the road, and we're going to start doing that now that it's starting to get spring around the northeastern coast of the United States here. It's starting to get spring times, so we're gonna be doing a lot more stuff on the road, rather, because so far, if you've been binge watching our episodes, a lot of the stuff has been in our studio, and I've kind of been like, okay, it's winter time, so that's okay. But we wanted to really get on the road, and we finally did an episode on the road. So still photography tips is on the road a little bit. There's still some stuff in that episode that's here back at the office, but basically it's all voiceover from the office. So I'm really excited about that because it's our first episode really out there, and you really get to see us in action. And then Friday's episode, which again is our podcast episode, next week, I don't know if you guys know this, but we're actually working with one of the biggest broadcasters on TV in Pennsylvania, where I come from in the United States here. So one of the biggest broadcasters in Pennsylvania we're working with right now to work on a documentary. And that's going to be really, really nice. We get to go into a bunch of little small mom and pop shops and film some stuff. We get to film with some of the biggest equipment that we have at our disposal. A lot of times what happens is, we're limited on locations because, we're only allowed to have like tripods there or something like that. With this film, we're able to bring in some of our biggest equipment, our jibs, you name it. We're allowed to bring everything and anything onto the film sets. So that's kind of exciting. And next Friday, we're going to be talking about that a little bit more. We're having some meetings on Thursday about that. So Friday's episode is all about that whole thing. And I really hope you guys join us for that episode, because it's mostly about donating your time to learn. It's a thing where, not on this program, a lot of times we say, don't donate anything. Make sure you're working for at least some money. And I think that's to a certain extent true. But I think it becomes a point where, when you're working with someone so much better, it's basically going from working on your own to working on Scorsese's film set. you know? Um, if you had the opportunity to do that, would you really go nickel and diming them and saying, hey, um, I need money to do this? Like, sure, if it's far away and you had to pay for all your travel expenses, I would want to get compensated for that. But, um, you know, it, there's a certain point, I think, where learning is valuable. Working with someone that is incredibly more knowledgeable than you at the point you are in your career, that doing it for lesser money is more important than the money itself. Just doing it and experiencing it. But this whole project allows us to go into different small mom and pop shops, which we were never able to do before. Normally, when you do that, you have to go in there a week or two in advance at least and say, we want to film here, sign these release forms, do this, do that, and then all this legal mumbo jumbo. With this project, we have an open door, and we're able to just go in there and say, hey, I'm working on this. Let me film. And they're going to let us film. So it's going to definitely expand our horizons in the stock footage warehouses. It's going to definitely expand our horizons everywhere. I'm so looking forward to it, and I'm so looking forward to Friday's episode. Just coming back here after our meetings on Thursday about that, and just having fun with this. Because at the end of the day, filmmaking is all about having fun. It's sure there has to be money on the table most times, but it's about fun, and I have so much fun about it. And now having Premiere and Adobe After Effects, oh my god, I'm having so much fun with this. I know I'm in the honeymoon phase again. I admit that. I freely admit that I'm in the honeymoon phase, and that's okay with me because I like being in the honeymoon phase. I really do. I love the honeymoon phase. So that's our episode, and join us back here every Monday for Friday, every weekday, which is, again, I love coming back here. I cannot believe it's 50 episodes coming up here, though. That's truly inspiring to me, and I love having you guys join us every week, every weekday. Oh, I love you guys for having the ability to come back and learn. I love the interaction. You're helping us. We help you. It's two-way straight here. So email us at questions@mhnews.info with any comments you guys have. Comment below. Like us here. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/MH. That's great. I can't even remember the MH News Facebook page. It's facebook.com/MHNews1. Go ahead and like us on there. Go ahead and like this video. Comment below with any comments or suggestions you guys have and questions that you have on anything we mentioned here today or anything on our program ever. Please send them in to questions@mhnews.info, and you might just get them listed on our Monday Q&A episode, and we record that every Sunday. So just because you didn't send it in yet doesn't mean you're too late. So send it in. Send it in, buddy. You're not too late yet. And even if you send it in late, it's always next week, so we'll definitely get on there. So have a good one, people, and enjoy your weekend here. It's a lovely weekend, so go out there and shoot. It's one of the first lovely weekends of the entire year. So don't miss the opportunity. Go out there with your cameras. Don't worry about not having a crew. Don't worry about not having the right camera yet. Say, well, I don't have a C100 Mark II. I don't have this. I don't have that. That costs $6,000 or something like that out of a camera. Don't make up excuses. Just go out there and shoot people and have fun with it. Just because you don't have Adobe Premiere or After Effects like we do now, because I can say that, doesn't mean you can't do a great video. So go out there and shoot some stuff. Have fun with it. And remember, it's about the fun. Always have fun what you're doing. If you can't have fun and if you can't learn something new every day on set, then it's just not worth doing anymore. Have a good one, people, and enjoy your weekend.